Hello, we're here in
Hi.
the Mosaic Works studio with Carlton.
Hi.
I'm Adrian. So let's try to introduce a bit ourselves.
Okay. So my name is Carlton Nettleton. I'm the Chief Product Owner at Applied Frameworks, and Applied Frameworks is a global management consulting firm, and we teach and coach and mentor our customers and students to create basically extraordinary software products and services. So we're really focused on how do we help our customers really build those killer products and services in their markets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm Adrian. I'm with Mosaic Works. I do many things from coaching, training, also on team sides, but more recently on products and product development. And also I'm a technical person, so I do a lot of sometimes of architecture or things like that. So I try to have an open mind of everything. So today we have this topic of Agile challenges, and we'd like to see what are the challenges today in Agile.
What are the challenges today in Agile? I mean, I think there's a lot of different types of challenges. For me, if I think about them, there's kind of three areas. A lot of organizations want to do Agile transformations or change their organization from the way they work today to a new way of working. And I think there's three main challenges. One, there's technical challenges. There's significant technical challenges organizations need to address to become more agile or more responsive to their customers. The second is there's communication and I would say cultural challenges. So the way that people are working today, their culture may not support this new way of working that's focused on customer satisfaction and being people first. And then I would say there's product challenges around, are we building the right thing? How do we know more about our customers and users so that we can build products that they really care about?
Quite often when I go with smaller or bigger companies in Agile transformation, they don't understand why. So
Why?
what I'm typically telling them is that the world is changing. So how are your experiences with this change of world? Because this is why product changes and this Agile transformation, digital transformations happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that I've been reading and seeing with our customers is that competition has really changed a lot for our customers. One, competition is global. It's not local anymore. So if you were competing, let's say you're a company, let's say I'm Portugal, I'm based out of Portugal, you used to compete with other Portuguese companies. Now you compete maybe with Brazilian companies because they also speak Portuguese, but you could be competing with countries in China or Vietnam or the United States. So competition's global, and then markets are faster, right? People's expectations about speed today is much, much faster than it was even 20 years ago when the Agile Manifesto first was created. So people have this expectation that things are going to be delivered faster. And so organizations are trying to respond to more competition from different areas, and then just faster markets and faster competitors. So that's one of the reasons why they're interested in like, hey, we need to change.
So how do you put this in balance with the needs to transform the organization from the cultural point of view? The second challenge you mentioned, because culture change is slow, and it's difficult to change with the pace that the markets are changing.
Well, to me, a lot of clients say they want transformation, but in reality, they don't want to transform their organization. Transformation sometimes is a buzzword, so it's kind of a challenge, right? Everyone's like, oh, we want to be transformed. And I say to my clients, I'm like, are you really sure that you want to transform, completely change your organization from what it is today to something that's different, that you may not even know what it is, right? Or do you just want some incremental improvements, right? And hey, I like transformation. I think it's great. For me, thinking about transformation is good because a lot of the ways that organizations work is preventing them from meeting these global challenges, these market challenges. But maybe the leaders don't want to invest that much time and energy, or don't have the time to invest that time and energy and culture, because it is not something that you come in and be like, hey, we have a brand new culture, right? It takes a long time to do that. And some cultures and organizations are more conservative and some are more risk-taking. And so for what I see with some organizations today is, one, they're bigger, the ones that want to do these transformations. And so that takes longer, but they're also more conservative. They're not risk takers. So they're not really willing to be like, yes, let's change everything for the sake of changing everything. And so that can be a challenge for them. What I then recommend sometimes to the client is, hey, let's make some incremental improvements. Let's make a transition from one state to the next, one state to the next. And then over time, sure, you can transform your company, but it's more incremental. And you're always kind of looking at what is that next step that you're trying to get to, instead of, pure transformation is, okay, we're going to throw all the pieces up in the air, let's see where they land, and hopefully the people land on their feet.
Yeah, I tend to call that like big bang transformation rather than incremental approach. And I tend to prefer those in most of the cases, like the incremental approach. But sometimes companies come and say, no, we want to change everything without taking culture into account. And I often see that as an issue, as a problem, because they think that if you do a workshop, everything will change.
Well, and I think another challenge that we want to think about if we talk about Agile challenges is what kind of journey do the leaders want to go on, the executives and the senior management in the organization. And the organizations that I've seen that are more successful are the ones where many of the leaders, not all, right? And note I said many of the leaders want to go on this journey of, hey, I want to learn how to be a better leader. And that requires executive coaching, right? And executive coaching, working with an individual one-on-one to improve how they act as a leader and how they show up each day, and recognizing their impact with the team. And it's not going to a workshop for this executive coaching. And it's not, frankly, executive coaching is not my skill set. You need someone who is a skilled coach. I recommend someone who is, has an official certification from the International Coaching Federation to do this work. Because this is personal work, and this is work where people need to go deep. And
even towards psychology and
there's some stuff that goes on in coaching. It's not something that hey, I read a book on Agile coaching so I can coach a leader now. This is not that. So many of the leaders need to go on this journey, and if they're not willing to go on this journey, then we really need to think about, hey, let's not do this transformation thing. Let's do this transition, because that's what the organization wants to do. That's what they want to invest the time in. And for the leaders that don't want to go on this journey, they're not bad. They're just like, hey, I don't want to invest the time right now. Maybe in the future they do. And that's
they have other priorities.
Exactly. They got to run the business.
So how do you see how product is this product side of Agile is growing? Because we have more and more approaches towards Agile product development, or let's not even call it Agile, but having a product, being able to deliver fast, like whatever happens in lean startup, from idea to delivery, and then increments fast. And how do you feel these ideas are taken today by the industry? And
well, yeah, so lately, for the last year, I've been the chief product owner at Applied Framework. So I'm responsible for our online education products, our classroom education products, and our consulting products. And as a chief product owner, my responsibility is to think about, okay, what are our products today? Who are our customers? And how do we deliver value? How do we provide them outcomes that are meaningful to our customers? And that is a non-trivial job, because you really need to understand from your clients' perspectives, what do they hope online education provides them? What do they think classroom education is providing them? And then figure out, okay, well, have the clients or have the customers or have our learners achieve those outcomes. And outcomes are a little difficult to measure, because they take many months to figure out, have we achieved this outcome? So at the end of a class, you can give someone a certificate and say, okay, they're certified, that's great. Or they take some sort of exam and they're certified, but have they actually achieved the outcomes? Have they been able to incorporate the lessons that we've been trying to teach them in a classroom? And can they do it repeatedly, not just once? That's really important. Is how did we do this repeatedly? And they do it at a skill level that is sufficient for where they are in their career. And that measuring those outcomes, is something that you have to go 3, 6, 7, 8 months later. And the same thing actually is with consulting. When consulting engagements, you have a scope of work. There are some goals that the client wants you to achieve, and you check those off as your deliverables on a scope of work. And you need to go back to the client months later and say, did we deliver those outcomes that you're hoping to see? Did you get faster time to market? Did you get higher quality? Ideally, during the engagement, you're starting to see those improvements. But what you want to think about with consulting is, now as you're gone as a consultant, has the organization reverted back? So I would also say that's a challenge, which is organizations are really good at making change when the consultant's around.
Exactly.
It's not so great all the time about sustaining the changes. And that's okay, because people are humans and they lose focus on what's important.
Yeah. So you mentioned this thing about product and feedback, and then having feedback from the things you do as a consultant.
Yep.
So we talk a lot more about feedback to the end result that we produce. So I think that for me, that's a thing that's changed a lot. I think more and more people look at it in this way, like not only getting it done, like, okay, we've done this change, or I've gone to this client and that's all. We've implemented this feature. So I feel that more and more people are looking at this on the long run. What are the outcomes? What are the results from these things? But still, it seems like a challenge for product owners to understand how to measure their product.
Yes. Yeah, I would say it's a challenge, because many times, and I see this sometimes with clients, I certainly see this with students, is that many organizations are very focused on being busy. Melissa Perry talks about this as being the build trap, and other people talk about this idea, I think Jeff Patton does, be focusing on outputs. Like, hey, let's get busy, let's get user stories done, let's get features done, let's get releases complete. And those are important goals and objectives. I have absolutely no objection to saying, hey, what do we need to actually do? But those serve a greater need, which is the outcomes you're trying to achieve. And when I think about outcomes, I go back to this idea from value proposition design from Alex Osterwalder. And he says, what sort of important jobs the customer is trying to complete? What sort of extreme pains are they trying to avoid? Or what sort of essential gains are they trying to achieve? And so your outcomes are related to helping the customer achieve an important job, eliminate an extreme pain, or help them realize an essential gain. And so, to be able to identify that means you have to really understand your customer very well, and not at a superficial level, right? You have to really understand and interview and gather market data, however way you want to, in a deep way, and you start to develop insights that the customer themselves may not know about themselves, because you've talked to a lot of customers, right? And then you start to figure out what's important to them. And then the organizations that can meet those important jobs, eliminate those extreme pains, and deliver on those essential gains, have a value proposition that customers will really resonate with, and they'll be very, very loyal to you.
So do you feel that product owners need to learn to be more like a psychologist, learn a bit of sociology, learn a bit about human behavior in order to understand these topics and to understand better their customer in the...
Sure, they could. Life? I mean, to me, I think what product owners need to do, and product management in general, is I think people need to get outside the building, which comes, I believe, from Steve Blank, which is, hey, just get at anything that you want to know about your products or services. That knowledge is not in this room. Not this literal room, but it's outside, right? And you need to go and talk to customers where they are, observe them, and really start to figure out, get those insights by talking to them. I mean, you can learn about the customer by being inside your own building. Absolutely. There's research you can do. But most of that work needs to be done outside. You need to talk to them.
And you don't feel them, like you don't really feel how they are. You just feel like it's a amorphous bunch of people, and I feel that this need to feel them, to understand them, to touch them is very important for a product owner.
I would agree. I would say, and here's another challenge to think about with this on product management is when I meet people who think the customer is an imposition on them, like, oh God, I got to talk to the customers.
Yeah.
Or they're so awful and painful to deal with, right? And sometimes as a product owner, I do think that. I admit that.
We all do that, right?
But a friend of mine told me once, which I thought was a really, really good, years ago, told me that your customers are worth gold. They're more valuable than gold because they have put their trust in you. They have given you money, and they really actually like you, right? Because they bought your product or service. Yeah. And so we should treat them like gold. Yeah. And every once in a while, when I get a little irritated at my customers, which happens once in a while, my operations manager says to me, he says, customers are gold. Remember that. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Have a positive viewpoint. A customer that's complaining about something actually wants you to succeed because they feel that they feel that you've missed, and they're trying to help you identify that you're making a miss and helping you improve. And they're giving you the opportunity to improve rather than just quitting and asking for the money.
Because I think people put energy in something they're interested in, and I mean there's this group of people who won't tell you anything. Not bad, not good. For me, that's no feedback, so I don't know what to do with that. Yep. So it's better to have someone criticizing you because that means they care and they put effort into it. I mean, every one of us is lazy and does only things they want to do or they feel it's important. So, yeah.
I actually have a really good story now we were talking about this around how some negative customer feedback really inspired me to up my game. So we have an online education platform, and in the first year, our online education platform wasn't the best, right? It didn't support the number of concurrent users. It was useful for our needs for the first stage of our product, for our online education platform. But as we got more users on the platform, as different people who had different experiences and different expectations of online learning came to participate, I remember one of our customers was really very unhappy, very, very unhappy. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, worried and concerned about this person's feedback. And I said to myself, wow, this customer, they're like, this platform's crap, essentially. I wish I had done this experience with someone else. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, you know what? My vision for this product is a world-class educational experience that is as good or better than a classroom experience. And this one customer has identified how I am not doing that. And I said, I'm going to fix this problem. And I couldn't go back to sleep. I was laying in bed and I'm like, okay, I got to go find a new platform. And so I spent 2.5 hours that night. I was up at 2 a.m. researching new learning platforms. And thankfully I found a new one, but I don't think I ever said thank you to that customer. But yeah, I mean, that negative feedback really motivated me to up my game and to really say, you know what, you aren't doing your vision. And you need to up the game. So I did. So thank you.
Yeah, it's important to look at feedback. That's, I think, essential in a product owner's life. And quite often when I teach product owners or young product owners, let's say, from this point of view, they don't understand it, especially when they come from corporate environments where they never know who's your customer. You always just do tasks and that's all. So how do you deal with that? If you have people who don't see the power of this feedback?
Well, I think part of the question is start asking people, who's your customer? Right? Just start asking people, say, okay, who's the customer? And in this scenario, and I've seen it too, is, well, I don't know. That's not acceptable anymore. You have to figure out who the customer is. Sometimes people talk about users or customers in a generic sense. And I say that, that's not acceptable. Because if you don't understand who your customer is, then you can't build the feature to meet their needs, right? And so I like user stories because they put the customer at the center. A lot of people, though, just say, well, the customer or a user, but we really need to be very specific on the target demographic because in my experience, focusing on a very narrow demographic allows you to go to market quicker. And to me, I think this allows you to focus on how to maximize the amount of work not done, which is one of the principles of the Agile Manifesto.
And I think you can also measure on that narrow demographic. It's easier to measure on.
Oh yeah, you can.
A small or a narrower interval than for everyone, right?
Right, and the feedback on the narrow interval that you focus. So if you're very targeted on your demographic, the feedback you get is very targeted. If you try to go to a broad demographic, so for instance, if you said we were building a product for women, right, all women. Now that includes women, let's say, from the age of 15 to 65, right? And so if you have a product or service that's for women, you're going to get a lot of different feedback, which is going to be very conflicting because 15-year-old women have different needs than 65-year-old women. But if you say, hey, we're going to focus on millennial women that travel, they are going to give you very specific feedback about your product or service and how it helps them travel or not. And that is really where you can get very actionable insights on what do we need to do to make this product better for them. Or just what you might say in the lean startup world, pivot. Maybe millennial women who travel aren't your target market. And so then we would move.
Yeah, you thought they were, but they aren't.
They don't like your product. Or they don't want to pay for your product. So they might like it, but they don't want to pay. And because this is most software is a commercial endeavor, people need to buy it.
That's true.
Well,
Coming next.
How can I grow into a real product owner that has all the responsibilities and can drive the product?
Well, one of the things that I've observed over the many years of working in the Agile community, working in Scrum, is there's different types of product owners, right? And every organization implements product ownership a little differently. The vision is that the product owner is someone who sets business direction, they're a visionary about the product or service, and they are what I call a player. They are engaged with the stakeholders in either setting the direction or helping set the direction.